giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by the Cochran Firm and Boston Scientific. Streaming live on YouTube and Facebook, and of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! We continue to dive into what I'm calling the swing game. Cowboys swing game. Cowboys versus Vikings. We're going to take a look at this Cowboys defense, man. They are sharing one common theme. Do your job. You're going to hear that a lot in today's episode. So we'll talk about the Cowboys defense against that Vikings offense. They're going to have to do their job. All right? Plus, in the roundup, another Dan Quinn familiar face has been brought in. I find that interesting. We'll get an emoji reaction from you guys. And a few surprises on the injury report from both teams. Maybe not that serious for one, but maybe serious for the other. And one of those surprises will affect the Vikings offense that we'll be talking about today. This Cowboys defense against that Vikings offense. And, of course, Bomb Squad. Shout out to y'all.
Bomb Squad!
If you want to call in, you can. 351-999-3787. It's there. I'm pointing at it. If you can't see it, I don't know what's wrong with your eyes. But if you want to see it in a DFW turf ticker, you can. 351-999-3787. Okay. Come on, Professor O. I got a surprise for later, but we can't start with that. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later on in the afternoon. But I got a surprise for that one, man. What's up with y'all? I do think this is a swing game, man. I had a fantastic we had a fantastic episode of Cowboys 4th and Long. I just sent it to our people. That should be hopefully uploaded today, maybe during the show. So if you get a chance after the show, check that episode out, me and Jesse. There are some things I really want to dive into today about that. Maybe it'll come up in passing, but it's not really about that. But I dubbed it the swing game on that podcast with me and Jesse, and I wanted to bring it here today. And here's why, before we get into the roundup. This game, this stretch, I told you guys before, I thought this was the most important stretch for the Cowboys because you had 3 NFC games. One of them was an NFC division game, and the other one was against an NFC top opponent. Thought it was the most important stretch. Had to come out of this at least 2-1. That still is in front of them. And the reason why I dubbed this a swing game, because you just lost. Had you beat the Packers, maybe it's not a swing game. Maybe the Packers becomes your swing game. But if you lose this one, I just feel in the same manner or similar manner as the other one. Can't stop the run. You can't finish. Big plays are being made. I just feel like there's a potential spiral just waiting. And this is something we've seen over the last 15 years when you lose a game in that manner like this. So it wouldn't give me a lot of confidence moving forward. Oh, but if you win on the road, 8-1 team, a game that I truly do believe this team needs a game, an atmosphere, the importance of it that this team needs to win with Dak Prescott at the helm. Because it's been since, let's be honest, the Patriots on the road. Since that type of game. And even then, it was early in the season, but still, that was a big game. It was one of those monkey off the back type games. I just feel like it's important for this team to get this dub. And if you do get that win, I think it can catapult you into more wins and potentially playing for the division, because the division's not out the way. It's not, because they lost. Now, if you had won last week, it'd be even better. But this is a very important game. Obviously, the next game is the most important game on the schedule, as they say. But I do think this is the most important game on the schedule until you get to next week and the next week. But lose this game, man, I feel like it could swing in the wrong direction. You win this game, I feel like it could swing in the right direction. And at this point, it does not matter how you win. You just have to win. And you just have to do your job, defense. We're going to take a look at a play that I talked about on Monday that Micah briefly talked about. And we're going to listen to Micah today. We're going to listen to Dan. And I'll read some things from J-Ron and Gallimore. So a lot of defensive stuff today before we actually review this Vikings offense. All right, so good show lined up today. Y'all can call in if you want. I'll be in the chat with y'all. So let's get this show on the road, Cowboys Nation.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time. It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Hey, yo. Cowboys continue to add to their practice squad. Another familiar Dan Quinn face. And former first-round pick Takk McKinley. And every time I hear Tack's name, I revert back to the 2017 draft where Cowboys were interested in Takk McKinley. Big time. And they jumped Dallas to grab him. And everyone knows who the Cowboys selected. Taco Charlton. But TJ Watt on the board. I hate to bring that up, but that every time I hear Tack's name, I think about that draft. And if that was the draft that I said, I'm done, no more, not fall in love with any players, I quit. Just go and watch the draft. I'm going to like a player, whatever. But my heart was set on TJ Watt, man. And he ripped my heart apart. Anyway, Takk McKinley, he's been around the league lately, y'all. He's hasn't really stuck anywhere. He's most recently been with the Rams. Started off his career, pretty decently. I think he had like 13 sacks in his first 2 seasons. He got 20 career sacks now, but he's been quiet of sort over the last few years. 2.5 sacks last year in Cleveland, and then he was just with the Rams for about 4 games, and he had some situations over there. So Takk isn't a guy that's coming off of a team or coming off of off the street with no reps this year. So this is interesting because he's a guy I think can come in and play, right? I don't know that you're just going to like sign Takk and he's just going to stay on the practice squad. I just wonder for who. You just got Basham back. You're not playing him over Sam Williams. DA. D-Law. And maybe that's where it begins. Are they prepping themselves for possibly being without D-Law? Now, before I get crazy with it, DeMarcus Lawrence on the injury report yesterday did not practice, and I use air quotes. You can't see me using air quotes, but I'm using air quotes because it wasn't really a practice. Zeke was limited in a walkthrough. Anthony Barr limited in a walkthrough. Anthony Brown limited in a walkthrough. D-Law did not practice. Foot. Now, clearly, we got to follow that and see what happens today and tomorrow because that's when they'll really practice is Thursday, Friday. And hopefully he's at a limited fashion. But he did tell Clarence Hill I'm playing, so that maybe they're just monitoring this situation. But I just find I wonder if the Takk McKinley signing has a little bit to do with DeMarcus Lawrence and just trying to be prepared if anything were to happen in that essence. But again, one of those things, hey, what made you guys want to sign Takk? Is it just, hey, a talent's out there, we'd love to have him on the practice squad in case something happens, or we kind of need an extra pass rusher? Because I feel like you got a lot of those guys. Nonetheless, the Vikings also had a very similar walkthrough as the Cowboys. It wasn't a real practice, but I feel like their injury report's a bit more concerning. Christian Darrisaw, who we'll talk about a little bit later, he left the game in the third quarter with a concussion. And Christian Darrisaw has been one of the best tackles in the league this year. He's having a fantastic season. And he did not return, and he did not practice yesterday. So, and the coach they were asked about Christian Darrisaw and Evans, the second cornerback. When I say second, I mean the second cornerback they're replacing opposite of Patrick Peterson. So all tied together. After Patrick Peterson, the coach came out, Kevin O'Connell was like, safety is the number one requirement. He didn't want to say anything else, but if I just had to guess, it's Thursday. Sounds like they're going to be on a cautious side for Christian Darrisaw and Evans, who both suffer concussions. So if they don't play, they will be down to their third cornerback opposite Patrick Peterson and their backup tackle. Two significant injuries in regards to the defense, and I move forward. If they're down to their third number two cornerback, man, I hope we don't go into that. I understand their weakness will be the pass defense. Their weakness has been the pass defense, not the pass rush, but the pass defense. But don't fall into it, man. Do what you do best and play off of that, in my opinion. I digress. But I'm burying the lead over there. Justin Jefferson was on the injury report, limited with a toe and foot injury. Now, I think he's going to play, but y'all know how I feel about foot injuries for wide receivers. It's a big deal. I'm going to follow that today because we talked a lot about following yesterday on Vach's show in regards to Trayvon Diggs. Yes, I am all for Diggs following Justin Jefferson when it comes to man coverage. Point blank, period. Sorry, y'all. I'm not trying to see Jefferson or anybody else. He just went berserk last week against a pretty good defense. So, yeah, I'm all for Diggs following him. And if he's hampered, it only helps the Cowboys. And then finally, like I said, a reoccurring theme you're going to hear throughout today. J-Ron Curse, Neville Gallimore spoke with our guy, Pat Walker, about basically doing your job. Do your job. It sounds so simple, but it's what the Patriots. I'll leave it at that. It's what works. All right. J-Ron Curse said everybody just has to do their job. Don't try to do too much. Just do your job. If every single individual does their job, we take care of the run. All right. Cool, J-Ron. Appreciate you. Neville Gallimore. We've got a lot of great athletes and ball players, and everybody is trying to make the play. We've got so many dogs on this team. If everybody just focuses on what they have to do individually, we'll be good. And we'll get there for sure. There's a play I'm going to show here in a little bit about exactly that. But they asked Dan Quinn the other day about the assignment issues, about accountability, about closing out the games, about the players talking about doing your job. Let's listen to Dan Quinn in the first word real quick.
The follow-up on that is just, Micah and Malik and some other guys were just talking about playing more disciplined, and guys need to do what they're assigned to do. Are assignment issues and individuals kind of getting away from the scheme?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think, what they're really saying is, we got real high accountability for one another and how we do things and how we operate. And to get back to your first part, no, I don't have a stretch that I can remember of 2 games to go. And certainly losing the lead is as big a thing as anything. Certainly on defense, when you have it, you want to go make sure this is how it's going to go down and be able to close the door. And so finding some moments to do that and close it in those spaces, those are the ones that you remember more, even so some leaky yards to go to say, this play we got to get done and we got to fix it and finish it. And so those are the ones to me that David, I really want to make sure we hammer home. When the moments were there, I thought we made some uncharacteristic errors that are definitely fixable, but sometimes when you're over trying or trying too hard to go make a play, and I think that's probably what the guys are referring to into that spot. But let's do our job really, really well and have that trust in our execution, and we certainly will. But those are the moments in the games. A fourth down, conversion that goes for a touch. Those are the ones that's okay. We got to get that handled.
There it is again. Got to do our job. Got to get that handle. Got to finish. Y'all know me. I talk about finishing when it comes to the offense and Dak. And there is, again, if you listen to that episode, I'm going to have to dive in deeper on that, man. There was some interesting that I found that I think needs to be expounded upon. But anyway, in regards to the defense, they did not finish that game. And he's specifically talking about that 4th and 7 play, which, and you go back and look at it again, jeez, this is what makes Aaron Rodgers ridiculous. But nonetheless, man, I don't know if there was a great read on that from Hooker, but that's not the play I wanted to show. Before I actually showed that play, one more clip. Micah Parsons is talking about doing said job. Micah was pissed. This was after the game, by the way. After the game, he talked about it. Then I want to say Dan Quinn talked about it Monday, and then Tuesday or so, maybe Wednesday, I don't know. Jaron Kearse and Neville Gallimore talked about it, but here's Micah on doing your job and playing assignment sound football.
In terms of being accountable and staying and knowing you're doing your job, that's what it is. Yeah, people think this is an I game because certain people splash. This is a we thing, and it's just not one person. It's, if he don't get the call, that's on us. If he don't stunt because, what I'm saying, whether he do it, it's either him or it's on us. You know what I'm saying? So we think we got to depend on everybody to do their job, and if one person not doing their job, everything's in shambles. So it's something that I'm very upset about, and it has to change.
We should have played a game today. Take a shot of your coffee, your water, your drink, whatever, for every time we hear "do your job." And this is not new. For those that have been on this channel, have been following this morning show for quite some time, and you don't even have to follow it that long. Just go back to the Eagles loss. Just go back. And after the Cowboys lost that game, Micah came out and said the same damn thing. And then I think it was LVE who, listen, LVE always got an attitude. He got an attitude like a bitter baby mom. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're talking about. LVE, it's a beautiful day outside. I mean, it's a beautiful day, but it could be better if you just bring me my kid. But no, seriously, he had an attitude when they asked him that question against the Eagles, and he was like, yo, we got to do our job. How many times are we going to hear this, right? Like we can't allow this to become a routine thing. Now, you didn't hear them talking about doing their job against Chicago too much because they won, right? Oh, yeah, we got to clean it up, man. Yeah, we just got to clean it up. Mike McCarthy came out and said that they had a leadership council meeting. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't just about the defense. I'm pretty sure they wanted to talk about some of those communication issues offensively, but today's about the defense. Let me go to a play that he's specifically, I think, talking about. It's just one of the plays, but I'm sure there's many that he's talking about. And I told y'all about this play on Monday after I had watched the tape, and it was a touchdown play from Aaron Jones where it just had a ridiculously gaping hole. When I saw this on the live, I'm like, what the hell is Bohanna doing? And then I realized there's supposed to be a stunt. And this is the stunt that it's supposed to be with. It's supposed to be Dante Fowler coming around for Bohanna, and he must have didn't get the call. And what happens? You get a gaping hole right there where Fowler would either be there or have him redirect back into Micah Parsons, who gets rid of his guy, but it's too late, and it's a touchdown. So that's just one play of miscommunication. There was another play in overtime. Now, it may have not mattered, but you just never know. Every yard matters. And I wish I would have pulled this play up, man. They motioned Aaron Jones to the other side of Aaron Rodgers, and LVE shifted to the middle of the field as opposed to staying in his gap, and it literally created a gaping hole. And it didn't need to because the numbers were already to the left side. So there's just communication breakdowns here with this. Let me get rid of this real quick.
Knowing you're
do your job, yeah, Micah. With this defense that just needs to get cleaned up, Cowboys Nation. It needs to get cleaned up because it's not going to, you're not going to get a break from teams that can run the ball. Minnesota can run the ball. Now we'll break down Minnesota's offense, but they throw it a lot. But like Micah said the other week, teams will switch up on us. You've got to earn the right to pass rush. Neville Gallimore talked about it. He said that he's echoing what your coach is saying, man. Neville Gallimore said something along the lines of, let me see if I can find it here. Okay, coach hit it on the head. You have to take care of first and second down. You have to earn that right to get to third down. You have to do whatever you can to get there. We're back to the drawing board, and we're going to focus on us. You love to hear all these things. Truly, you love to hear all these things. But I love it even more if it's put into motion and we see some results, because Cowboys are the fourth worst rushing defense team. For only the third time in 30, 35 years, they had back-to-back 200-yard games, and they asked Dan Quinn. Mind you, an Atlanta Falcons team that wasn't particularly good his last few seasons in Atlanta, and his last season had an all-time worst defense. He said, have you ever had a back-to-back stretch where you gave up almost 500 rushing yards? And he said, I've never had a stretch like this. It went from we talk about this being one of the best defenses. I say we, I mean, I didn't think it was one of the best defenses of all time, but a lot of people were saying that. But at the very least, we were saying, hey, one of the best defenses in the league. And I keep saying, I don't think you can be given that one of them ones unless you're able to stop the run. You got to be able to stop the run. They got to get back to figuring something out because teams are not going to stop it. Why would you? Actually, I welcome you to throw the rock. Truly. Shaq, we about to get to this offense for man, and let me know if I'm hitting the nail on the head with your offense. Is he referring to LVE directing other players instead of taking care of his own gap? I think the specific play, Aaron E., that he's talking about is that Aaron Jones run where, and again, our stunts are not always clean, by the way, but where Bohanna drives his man upfield and does get attached to Dante Fowler's guy, but Fowler doesn't come underneath the stunt. And he just leaves a gaping hole, man. And that can't happen, man. That absolutely cannot happen. Not in the red zone. So I think that's the play he's talking about. But the other play I'm talking about is a communication play in the overtime game where LVE shifts to the strong side. Well, he shifts in the middle, but he doesn't need to, in my opinion, because the numbers were already on the strong side. There wasn't a receiver. So you had the corner, you had a safety, you had the linebacker, and you had the defensive end, and you had the numbers. And LVE shifted to the middle of the field and gave the number disadvantage to his side. Now you had 3-on-2, where if he just stays his side, he sees the play come back. Micah forces it to LVE, but LVE can't get over around the guard in time because they did a duo, and he came up to the combo, and boom, Aaron Jones gets 8 yards or 7 yards, and he makes it 3rd and short. Where maybe it could have been 3rd and 7, 3rd and 5, as opposed to 3rd and 2. And every yard matters, man. Every yard matters. All right, let's get a couple of callers in here before we get to this breakdown, Cowboys Nation. Pulse of the Nation hotline presented by our guys at the Cochran firm. Larry and Brian handle the most challenging civil cases down there. Not only do they handle them, they fight for you. They serve this DFW area. Two great gentlemen and a great firm down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. All their civil cases are handled on a contingent fee basis. For those that don't know what that means, it means if there is no financial recovery, then they charge no fee. All right. So if you want to know more about it, hit them up at 1-800-THE-FIRM or schedule your free consultation today at CochranTexas.com. Let's get Glenn in the building. What's up, Glenn?
Hey, what's good, Sky? Great show as usual. And
Thanks,
I'm
bro.
glad you're talking defense today, or at least the first part of the show.
Yep.
So, Dan Quinn, the last couple weeks, maybe statistically it's obvious, but he's kind of struggling a little bit. I think that's kind of fair to say. That I think there are a couple things he needs to tighten up, in my opinion. And I just want to bounce them off you. The first one is, and I think you may have even you may have even covered it. To me, stunts. This team doesn't really need to engage in stunts because, to me, and maybe I'm wrong, I'm only stunning if I can't generate a pass rush,
Right?
or if I just don't. Or if I just, don't necessarily want to commit the resources to blitz. If I have a good pass rushing line, and you can even include Micah on that, quasi-Micah as a quasi-defensive end, why am I stunning? All I'm going to do when I stun is leave myself wide open to what just occurred in that reel you just showed, where there was confusion and a gaping hole. That's number one. He's got to cut down on that. Number two, I think this team needs to play a little bit more zone, because what zone will do is force you, and I don't know if they did enough of this in the off season or in training camp or mini camp or whatever, but when you're playing more zone, you're forced to depend on the other players. In other words, I think Dan Quinn sometimes relies a little bit too much on man. Mm-hmm. And number one, you stress out your corners, and I don't think we have one excellent corner. But when you have weak links at cornerback, I really am reluctant to play zone in single high safety. I am making sure that I have two safeties back there, and if there's going to be any man, maybe it's in very short.
You can play a variation of man zone at the same time, right? With Trayvon Diggs, but everybody else, especially Glenn, when you're getting beat. I just wrote these down here. Christian Watson, 50 yards, touchdown, man coverage. Christian Watson, 40 yards, touchdown, man coverage. Allen Lazard, 36 yards in overtime to win the game, man coverage. You've shown that, okay, opposite of Trayvon Diggs, we're getting beat via man. And if you want to go even further, you could talk about the 2nd and 22 play against was it Watkins, Sammy Watkins, man coverage, where in game you got to adjust. We talk about Dan Quinn having to find a counter. I don't think he found a counter in that game from either the passing standpoint or the rushing standpoint. And I'm with you. I think some variation of zone will help out, man, because I don't think you got that oppo I hate to use the term shutdown. That oppo reliable corner down in, down out like from Trayvon Diggs.
Totally agree. And so, and I'll just leave you with this. There comes a point in time where you have to simplify your defense and trust your personnel. I think if Dan Quinn looks at the tape and if he had it to do all over again, I think when you're up 14 points, and I won't put it all on him in the fourth quarter. I just think that's overly simplistic. But I think when he goes back to look at the tape and say, you know what, I am going to go out there with base nickel or maybe big nickel, and I'm going to make them earn it on a multi-play drive. No big plays. Let's see if you can do it and close the gap. You got to get to a point where you just simplify the defense, and I'm not sure that this team knows how to play zone, because playing zone is a skill. Gap control is a skill. It forces discipline, and you stress the offense to see if they can convert on multiple third downs. And I'd like to see that. I would have loved to have seen that
on third down.
Sunday.
Dan Quinn mentioned a very interesting and important point. Dallas got into 11 third and shorts out of their 14. So they got an 11 third and twos, third and ones, third and threes, and that limited the pass rushing situations and limited certain calls. And that's why they stressed winning on first and second down, because it's a little bit easier to go zone when you're third and long. A little harder to go zone, give that cushion and give that window when you're third and two. So they got to earn it, right? They got to earn to get there. But I do think there's no excuse to not be in zone, because remember, third and one, they want 50-yard touchdown to Watson. But 4th and 7, I don't understand, and I'll close the call out with this. When you go back and watch the 4th and 7 play, it reminds me exactly what happened on 3rd and 4 against the Philadelphia Eagles. A very important drive. You're sugaring the A gaps. You're acting like you're going to blitz, and then you pull them back, and you don't come, and they're just kind of just hanging around in the middle of the field, and they don't make a play, obviously, and they convert a first down against Philly. Same thing happened here against Green Bay. You're sugaring the A gaps. You're showing pressure. And I feel like if you did pressure, that would have helped. Instead, they pulled them back. The linebackers are just hanging around in the short middle of the field. And then you have one-on-one coverage in the back end. With Aaron Rodgers, man, I feel like go get him or put people in coverage. You can't play around with one or the other.
Agreed. All right,
Good call,
thanks,
man.
guys. I'll keep listening. Appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. Great call. Should I bring up that 4th and 7 play? Because it was frustrating. Yeah, let's take James, the truck driver, real quick. Let me see if I can bring it up so y'all can see what I'm talking about. James, what's up, bro?
Hey, what's up, Sky? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Hey, that was a great call from the.
Yes.
I didn't catch his name. That was a great call.
Glenn.
Call. I want to throw a twist on it. Kellen Moore did not help his defense by running a fast offense up 14 in the fourth quarter.
Well, before you go, because I've been hearing this a lot, and I do want to correct one small thing.
Okay.
The offense was not giving the ball back up 14; they were giving it up 7. I just want to be a little bit fair there, but go ahead.
Okay. Kellen Moore, and this goes to the defense, guys. I know this is defense day. First off, let me say this. This is a must-win.
100%.
We've lost to Tampa Bay, we've lost to Philly, and we've lost to Green Bay. Everybody in the NFC. This is a must-win. We have to win this game. Or I think, shit is going to roll downhill after this. This is just what I think. I think that Mike McCarthy needs to take that playbook if he want to save his job, and he need to fall on his own sword instead of letting Kellen Moore do what he does. Kellen Moore does not protect the defense the way that he called plays.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't have so many 3 and outs and expect for the defense to come back fresh. I mean, you got to protect them. We've been saying this all year, all off season. The defense is going to be the strength. The defense is going to be the strength. The defense is going to be the strength. In order for the defense to be the strength, we run the ball. We take care of the time of possession. We have not done that in the past couple of games. He threw 46 times last game, and we was gashing him with the run. And Aaron Rodgers, the all-world quarterback, was handing the ball off. They down by 14. He's still handing the ball off. And it worked. If Mike McCarthy don't get a hold on this thing and get a hold, how can you sit back and let your offensive coordinator do that down? You said down by 7. You go hurry up offense. Green Bay is down by 7, and you go hurry up offense, and you don't convert, and you put them back on the field. Your defense hasn't rested.
Yep.
This is what I'm saying. The offense can help the defense, but we have an inadequate play caller, man. This guy is just horrible.
Put it on a loop.
At controlling the pace of the game.
That's an important thing.
Go ahead.
That's definitely an important thing that we need to talk about, man. And I don't want to get too far away from the defense, but is
Right.
controlling the pace of the game. And we did a good, bad, or ugly in our Cowboys 4th and Long podcast, and my ugly was the game management. It was the management of the game in that fourth quarter and overtime. It's like you just had a lapse of what is working, and you go against the grain for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And I just, again, it's one of those things where we're going to have to overcome, these glitches. unfortunately.
I think the only way that
In closing, brother. In closing. You got to be in closing.
In closing. The only way that we're going to overcome these glitches and help our defense is if we run the ball and we give the defense time to rest, even if we don't score. If we can just have 5 or 6 plays and then maybe punt the ball instead of 3 and out, And Sky, I appreciate you. Good show, and I'm listening.
Man, appreciate you, James.
Yep.
I feel like we're on the loop here, man, with Kellen, and this is the trust issues, right? This is the trust issues, and it wasn't all bad in the game in regards to some of the plays and whatnot. But y'all know how I feel. Like, why isn't this a staple, or why aren't we kind of going back to it, or whatever? But we're kind of getting away from the other side of the ball here. This is the play I'm talking about that was very similar to the Eagles game. Now, this is 4th and 7. You've already been burnt for a 50-yard touchdown around this same part of the field in man coverage. And clearly, single high safety, Aaron Rodgers is licking his chops if he doesn't get pressured. There's sugar in here, right? I believe this is, I want to say LV and somebody else, but I think that's LVE, and I can't find where the other guy is at here. Maybe it's up here. Let me make the play run for a little bit. It was Dono. So there's sugar in here, and they don't come. In my opinion, on a 4th and 7, they got to have it. There is no way on earth I'm allowing Aaron Rodgers to just chill in the backfield and be able to step up. Either you come or you don't play around with this. You put 2 guys back here and you funnel this. You play the line and you say, if you're going to come past this line, I got 2 guys back here to deal with it. If not, I got 4 guys in front to deal with it, make the tackle or knock the ball away. But you can't be in between. And when you watch these backers, they're all in between. You got one-on-ones across the board. He eventually breaks free, but the play, honestly, from the other angle is going to be nuts that Aaron Rodgers makes, and you get a touchdown. Now, watch it from the other angle. I would just come get him. I don't understand why we play around with this. Either come get him or get the hell back. Watch Aaron Rodgers, though, man. That throw was stupid. Yeesh. But that was the play, man, that when I went back and watched it, I'm like, you gotta commit to something. This ain't Justin Fields, man. This ain't Jared Goff. This is Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. All right, let's get to B Bird, and then we'll do this breakdown, and we'll move forward. What's up, B Bird?
Hey, what's up, guy? How you doing, man?
We got you now. We're good. What's up?
Oh, okay. Hey, I got a little story about my son's youth football league, him on the team. So he was playing defensive tackle, and youth football is pretty simple. He had the C gap, and the linebacker had the B gap. And so a lot of times he would just take up 2 blockers there, and that's his job. But then I look up, because I was coaching him or whatever, man, next thing you know, he got a sack. I got a sack. Pretty good play. Everybody cheering and stuff. And then next play, he got stopped in the backfield. Like, God dog, man, that was pretty good. Then next play, the team scored a touchdown. So brought him to the sideline. I said, man, what happened on that play? And he said, well, Dad, I stopped going through the C gap. I started going through the B gap. That's how I made those 2 plays. And I said, son, but you got to do your job. And I said, see, what you did is you want the glory, so you went through the B gap so you can make the play so you can hear the crowd cheer for you, which they did. I said, but the linebacker and you had the B gap. Who had the C gap? And he's like, nobody. That's where that touchdown came from. So that was a story. And what that is, you got to think about the mentality, is that do your job. Sometimes doing your job is not going to bring you glory.
Nope.
But in the whole scheme of things, it's how the defense works. And so he went back to doing that, and sure enough, now he didn't get as many plays, but he did his job. And what I'm trying to say is sometimes I see our defensive ends crashing down. That's not your job. That's why you lose outside containment, because you're going for the tackle That's not your job. Yeah, you're going to make some splash plays, and everybody can be like, wow, look, that's a great play. Yeah, but, dude, if somebody would have stepped in, stepped out, and got away from you, nobody's on that side. We've seen that happen to D. Ware in the Chicago game or whatever. So I'm just saying, like, what it is, I think to me it's selfish. It's a selfish thing, to be honest with you. When guys aren't doing their thing for the betterment of the team, they're looking out for themselves and their own stats.
Yeah, and you hear them say that without saying it, right? Because you don't want to throw an individual player under the bus. But I think they're comfortable saying this to the reporters and the public because everyone is probably saying it inside. And it sounds like they're holding themselves accountable in that locker room. So they're comfortable saying, hey, man, we just got to do our job. Because I'm pretty sure each player is tried to make one of those plays. And that's why Neville was like, we got ballers, man. We got great players that are trying to make the play when we don't need to. Part of me, though, want to go back to what Glenn said about the stunts and whatnot. And I feel like we talked about this before. I just don't see the need to stunt so much because I think you have a lot of talent. Let some of these players' talent shine through. The reason why I don't think you're seeing that breakout Osa type of years because I don't think they're asking their defensive tackles to go and beat the guards mano a mano. I think they're asking the defensive tackles to be crash dummies, to be setup men. And that's fine and dandy. But if you go look at this Green Bay Packer game, even if you look at the play I just showed, it might have been one of the most sloppiest stunt games I've seen from them under Dan Quinn. And there's been a handful of them, B-Bird. There's been a handful of them. And the stunting is a part of doing your job, right? The getting the call to a Dante Fowler is part of doing your job. I don't give a damn if you got to scream till you lose your voice. You need to relay that information, right? You need to make sure you're in the right spot. And the jumping inside to the B gaps or to the B gap if you're containing the C gap, that was prevalent against Chicago big time. This one to me felt like the second level and the third level, which again was like in the Eagles, were the issues in regards to filling. And then the stunts, obviously, right? They weren't executing their stunts. We can't have that, man. We just can't do it because you're going to run up against a Philly again. You're going to run up against a San Fran. You're going to run into a Minnesota. And these guys are going to stunt or they're going to run the ball on you if you don't do your job, man.
Yeah. So one of the things I was going to say is that, do your job, really, the ones that's personified as New England. They've done well with that over the years. And it's their culture, right? That's what Belichick, that's what he's formulated, and it works well. But one of the things I was going to ask you, and this is my opinion because me and my wife talk about this, and she said I say this all the time. I don't know how you make – okay, let me just say this.
Uh-huh.
When a player makes a dump, has a dump penalty, like jumping off sides on 3rd and 5 or 4th and 5 or 4th and 4 or whatever, or, missing assignment or whatever, I am all for taking that player off the field. And I'm not saying that forever, but playing time is the way that, to me, that you make them accountable. We could talk about accountability all we want to. When Jerry says that after the season he's going to be accountable, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if there's nothing happening, then it's not accountable. You're just saying it. There's no repercussions to it. So I don't know. I mean, maybe that's me being emotional during the game, but I see other teams do that. Like if a guy jumps off sides on a 4th and 4, they pull him off the field. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, you got to come off. Right? We can't have that happen. So one of the things about those missed assignments and playing hero ball and stuff like that, to me, basically, if you spot that as a coach, to me, I think you're really supposed to pull a person out, let somebody else get another opportunity that's going to do their job. So if you can expound on that, and I could be wrong on that, but you can expound on that, I appreciate it. I'm going to take it offline on that.
No, all right, man. Appreciate you, B-Bird. I tend to agree with that a little bit, man. I'm not saying you got a bench to do for a whole game or whatever, but I feel like you do got to get you got to get on them. And we didn't have offsides or whatever in this game, but we're specifically talking about Dante Fowler. But it don't have to be a penalty either. It can be missed a stunt. It can be missed a communication. But yeah, I mean, somebody's got to hold them accountable. I think it was Jesse who was talking about, like, who's holding them accountable? Yeah, you eventually have to do your job, right? But if you're not, and you're not doing it, you're consistently not doing it, or you're consistently having these issues, somebody has to now hold you accountable. Somebody has to be the adult, right? As parents, if we let our children continue to get away with things, not trying to compare them to children, right? We can sit here and say, hey, you can't do that. You can't do that. Stop doing that. We could gentle parent all we want. I ain't come from gentle parent. I ain't come up from that. Stop it. And they just keep doing it and doing it. Well, they're not going to stop because there's no repercussions. I'm not saying these dudes are kids, but I'm just saying there needs to be some type of consequences. All right, let's pause for a quick second before we get into breaking down this Kevin O'Connell driven Vikings offense. It's a fan focus. This next segment is brought to you by Boston Scientific. In the U.S., more than 39 million men suffer from ED. Boston Scientific created edcure.org to help you find your best cure. To get started, go to edcure.org and take the quiz and learn your severity or risk of ED. If you have a condition that puts you at a higher risk, you'll find customized content. The fastest way to find your best cure is to contact an ED specialist by browsing a list of experienced physicians in your area. Visit edcure.org, brought to you by Boston Scientific.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you. We'll do it live.
We need to smash a watermelon. He did bring up red ass this year. He said there's a lot of red ass going on. The last time I heard him say red ass was against the Falcons. Before the Falcons game. And then you had the watermelon and all that stuff. And yeah, we don't need all that, man. This team is good enough. Just do your damn job. What you're going to have to do, man, because they're going up against a Vikings offense that I think is loaded, man. I think this is a loaded offense from a talent standpoint. The good thing is the guy that's throwing the rock can give you a chance. We'll get to that in a second, man. Kevin O'Connell, he's brought over a pass-happy offense from the Rams. And the more and more I studied this Kevin O'Connell-led offense, man, I said it on Twitter, the more impressed I came away, man. And maybe it's just me being a Cowboy fan, the coordinator we got, and I look around the league and I'm just like jealous of certain schemes, jealous of certain concepts. I mean, why can't we do something like that? He has some really good concepts that gets, you matched up against certain players. So get ready for a souped up version of the Rams offense, in my opinion, a better version of the Rams offense. You're going to get a lot of tight personnel, be it from 3 wide receivers or 12. You're going to get a whole lot of pre-snap action, some post-snap action, a lot of boots, drags, overs, play action. He's going to throw a lot of things at you. Maybe he shouldn't. Maybe you don't need to do that against this Dallas defense. But I think he will. 8th in points per game this year, 11th in yards per game, 5th in pass attempts per game. They love to throw the ball, man. Now will they? Because last time I said this about the Packers, Packers throw the ball 10th most in the league. They run it 20th most in the league. Packers said, well, why the hell will we do that? I got a good pass rush. We don't have great receivers. This is a different story here, but we can run the ball. That's what we're going to do. Will Kevin O'Connell be disciplined enough? Just kind of repeating myself on a loop. To not throw the ball all over the park, because that's something that I do welcome. If they don't, and they decide to lean on a run game, it will be Dalvin Cook. It will be the Dalvin Cook show. Madison is the other guy, but his carries have dropped dramatically from last year, from about half. He's only at 4 yards per carry. But maybe they say, We don't need to run just Cook. We'll run both of them at you. But Dalvin Cook is getting the rock. 7th in the NFL in rushing attempts, and he's hitting at 5 yards per carry. 5 yards per carry. And this will be the 4th consecutive year that the Cowboys will have seen Dalvin Cook, man, which is crazy. Shout out to my guy Tuck. He was like, man, 4 years in a row we're playing the Vikings. This is a division game. So I expect Cook to get a lot of work, man. He's averaging 23 yards per carry. Granted, different scheme. 23 yards per carry against Dallas. Different scheme, different play caller. But I still believe they'll lean on Cook, and he has the talent to do this right here. You know? So you got to be able to tackle this dude. Like I said about Madison, I think one of the most consistent, reliable number 2s behind the number 1. I mean, he's not been an explosive guy. But he's been reliable. He'll get you 400 every year, get you about 4 touchdowns every year, and he spells Dalvin Cook greatly. But again, he's only getting 4 yards per carry this season. But if Dallas wants to slow these guys down, I do think they'll have to dedicate a little bit more at the line of scrimmage. And in doing so, I mean, being aggressive at it. Now, maybe they don't. Maybe Kirk Cousins comes out and throws it all over the field. And if they do that, then we just let Kirk Cousins be Kirk Cousins. Eventually, he'll do a Kirk Cousins thing. Now, Kurt has always been a guy that can make the throws. He's always been a guy that can do high-level quarterback things, but he's also always been a guy that makes a play that you're like, what? Like, what are we doing here, Kurt? And right now they're calling him Kirk Cousins or Kirk Haynes or whatever it is because they're winning and whatnot. But he's still Kurt, in my opinion. The difference, I don't even want to say the difference because he's done this, is that they're finishing games. You know, Kurt and the Vikings are finishing these games, and that's what's leading to 8-1. But he's 4th in the NFL interceptions. He's thrown 8 of them. He's got 9 total turnovers. He had 2 terrible interceptions against the Bills. But he's got that man over there, brother. He's got that man over there. But Kirk Cousins in general, man, he has a career low, which is crazy because they're 8-1. Completion percentage, touchdown percentage, QB rating, and QBR. And Shaq said the other day, oh, so now you guys can see we're winning in spite of Kirk Cousins. He's doing some good things, Shaq, but I would tend to agree. I feel like Kirk's making just enough plays, and I guess that's all that matters at the end of the day, but then you'll see stuff like that. Like what was that? A few plays that worry me, though, that I do think that Kirk and the Vikings run well is that backside bootleg. I feel like we got to be secure over there. That now they're running it with Hockenson, who's going to come behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to come underneath Jefferson and usually another middle option with Jefferson over top, and is going to make for an easy high-low read. Hockenson has been targeted a whole lot with that, and we'll get to that here in a second. From an offensive line standpoint, we talked about Christian Darrisaw, man, who's having a fantastic year. I don't know if he'll play. He didn't practice yesterday. We'll see if he practices today with a concussion. But they do have a pretty solid line, pretty damn good line, honestly. Ed Ingram would be the mouse in the house, though, man. He's not having a really good year. He gives up a ton of pressure. So, again, one of those situations where I just don't see the need to stun a whole lot against a guy like that. Just go at him. Now, you can stun a few times, but allow your talent to shine through their weakness. 35 pressures, 7 sacks given up this year. So go after him. Now, if they block it up, they got two good receivers. Just okay. Just okay. One of them's all right. No, seriously, man. Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the league, in my opinion, or if not the top wide receiver, top 2 or 3. I just really enjoy watching Justin Jefferson. He's an explosive route runner. He's a precise route runner. He's a route technician. Ridiculous hands. And I'm just not putting anybody else on him in man coverage. You're going to have to earn yours against Trayvon Diggs, bruh. Last year when Diggs was on Justin Jefferson, he had 1 catch for 3 yards. So put him back on him, because if not, he's just going to continue to go off. He's already at 1,000 yards, 69 receptions, 100 freaking targets already with half the season already over. And Kirk's going to go to him. He's averaging 11 targets per game. So get ready for Kirk Cousins to attack whoever the hell is not Trayvon Diggs. He can attack Diggs. I'm okay with that. Keep coming at Diggs. I think at worst it'll even out. Adam Thielen, I have down as one of the more respected and consistent wide receiver twos. He's not the same Adam Thielen of yesteryear where he's getting 14 touchdowns, 10 touchdowns, but he's still a precise route runner with good hands. And I won't say went off, but he had 2 really big catches against the Cowboys last year, both on Trayvon Diggs. So he's another guy that's reliable that they're going to have to pay attention to. He's second on the team in receptions and yards. And while he's not having that pace of touchdowns, he's still a guy you got to watch out for. When they do decide to go 3 wide receivers, that's the guy right there, KJ Osborne. Their underneath guy for the most part. He came on the scenes a few years ago. Not a whole lot of production, but he's their wide receiver 3 guy. This team is going to go through the top 2 receivers, the tight end, and running back. They're not going to do a whole lot with their wide receiver 3. I think he's got like 40 targets or something like that. But the most intriguing addition, though, is TJ Hockenson. He just got here like 2 weeks ago. And Kirk Cousins is like, thank you, 20 targets. He's got 19 targets in 2 games and 16 receptions. No touchdowns yet. And he's only getting 7.2 yards per reception. But he's already getting a rapport with Kirk and becoming one of those trusted guys to throw to underneath. So get ready for seeing TJ Hockenson for the second time. Overall, Cowboys Nation, like I mentioned at the top of this breakdown, Kevin O'Connell's going to throw a lot at you. So get ready for that orbit motion, that, a whole lot of pre-snap looks, pre-snap motion, post-snap action, some tight bunch formations. Get ready for it all. So I'm saying. But if I was Minnesota, I would probably simplify this game until Dallas shows me they can stop the run, until Dallas shows me that they can stop getting attacked on the edge. This is, if you watch them and you see some of these plays here, it's literally the Rams offense, but with better personnel this year. If it's the Rams offense, that means it's a variation of the Niners offense. The Niners offense we struggle with because they had the personnel to do it, to execute it. You'll see some of those pitches that look like a pitch, but it's really a pitch, and you come back into the A or B gap. You'll see some of the orbit motion. You'll see some of the post-snap stuff with the tight end and the fullback. And yeah, get ready for all that. They're going to try to put your linebackers in a blender consistently. So that's the Minnesota Vikings offense against this Cowboys defense. Shaq, still want you to call in, man. I want to talk to you, man. Is this you right here? Hold up. 862. Is this you, Shaq?
This Shaq.
What's good, man? Let me know about your squad here, man. I'm trying to figure out how we can beat you guys.
Okay, so offense, you got it down packed.
Okay.
I'll say if you want to stop the Vikings, and I hate this because it's been the same way since we had Adrian Peterson. If you could stop the run game and make the quarterback throw, Kurt's gonna be Kurt. He's gonna do some good throws. He's gonna throw some bad throws.
Yeah.
If y'all could capitalize off his bad throws and get the score out of reach early, then that's where shit could go bad.
So let me ask you: is your coordinator similar to how ours been in the past, where if you get up on them by just a little bit, it feels like they're going to go away from the run?
Yeah. I feel like after I get by at least 7 points, KOC going to be like, all right, we got to start throwing more, even though Dalvin Cook only got like 5 carries.
Hey, listen, I love to hear that because, if I would do the opposite, I would just continue to run even if you're up because the Cowboys' run defense is not shown to be able to be consistently good. So I love to hear that. So that means we need to come out to a fast start.
Yes, I was saying, like, if you check, I don't know if you've seen the Vikings versus the Eagles game. The game got out of hand early.
Yep.
But it's that the defense capitalized on, again, like, turnovers and all the Vikings had to do was continue to run the ball because the Eagles are struggling to stop the run.
Right.
Where they get to at is they're a great pass defensive team, and they got good pass rushers.
Yeah, you're right. And it's sometimes I try to, like, because that game was so far long ago, I usually try to watch the last 2 or 3 games or 2 games at the very least. But that game is still, some of the things are happening now. Like, the Eagles are not good against the run. And y'all, I don't want to say y'all came back in that game, but y'all stayed in that game, as crazy as it sounds. I think it was 24-7 because you were getting turnovers. But then Kirk would just give the ball right back to the Eagles. So, but that could be Kirk pressing, and also primetime Kirk, not the same Kirk.
Yeah. So I say the Vikings' weakness is run straight up the middle for our defense. If y'all can run the ball up the middle, for some reason, the middle of the field just be open for pass and running up the middle. I don't know. I think
I would say not having Dalvin Tomlinson has to be a hurt piece for the middle of your defense. Did you hear anything about him coming back?
Not yet. He's still, I guess, in concussion protocol. I don't know if they changed it to last longer than a week since the Tua situation.
Yeah, I thought Tomlinson had something else going on. I have to go look, man.
Last I checked, it was concussion. Him and cornerback Evans. Caleb.
I thought that was Christian Darrisaw that had the concussion.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah. I think Thompson's dealing with like a calf, and he was a thorn in our side last year. If you remember, he was giving Connor Williams trouble last year.
Yeah. So, but we had changed our defensive scheme. We're no longer a 4-3 team. We're 3-4. So we depend more so on linebackers.
Yep. That's something I talked about yesterday. Ed Donatel, who comes from Vic Fangio over in Denver. He's bringing a little bit of those principles over there. And I noticed this is Darius Smith, who's been in 3-4 defenses before, but the Danielle Hunter's standing up a lot more this year, and they're moving those guys around. But I agree with you. I don't think the middle of your defense is strong, in my opinion. It's those pass rushers, bro. They're great. And if you don't have a middle of the defense that's strong in that style of defense, then it requires your linebackers to be great. And you got good ones. Like you do. Hicks and Kendricks are really good. But if I can get my guards on them and I can get, 2 yards down the field without being touched, we're talking about like a 6-yard gain or more. So I do feel confident in being able to run on the interior. The edge is a bit different. I do think the Darius Smith is a good run defender out there and a pass rusher. So.
Yeah, that's definitely what our defense. If our defense can't get to the quarterback, it's gonna be a long day.
Yep, that's so crazy. That's what's happening. Teams are throwing the ball. They're moving the ball on that defense if you don't get to the quarterback. But y'all got 2 guys that can get there, man. But hey, Shaq, I appreciate the insight, man.
I was just gonna say, Evans. I remember yesterday you had asked us about I think you said players like Dorrance Armstrong.
Yeah.
It's a player named DJ Quantum. He's our rotational edge guy. He comes in like if the Darius or Danielle Hunter get tired.
What's his name?
He's like a situation.
What's his name, bro?
DJ Wanham.
DJ Wanham. Okay, I'm going to go look him up, man. Appreciate you, bro.
All right. Good luck this week.
I would say the same, but just to say good luck with injuries.
All right, take care.
Appreciate you, Shaq. Good stuff from Shaq, man. DJ Wanham. See, you got to watch out for those Dorrance Armstrong types. We saw a game Dorrance Armstrong had against the Rams that pretty much won that game early on. But get out early, and I do think that Kevin O'Connell will turn into Kellen Moore and be like, yo, we just going to throw the ball. Because you don't have 50, or you're not 5th in pass attempts without abandoning the run at some point. All right, so it'll be paramount to do it. I just wonder, because they could be down to their third, second cornerback, because it's either feast or famine at getting home. Does Kellen Moore look at this and say, oh, man, I want to pass the ball all game? Or does he stick to the identity of your team and you build off top of that? I don't think Even a team that has a vulnerable secondary, I don't think you need to go in there and throw the ball over the park because I don't think you're that type of team. May have been 2 years ago, last year, whatever, right? When you have those 3 wide receivers and whatnot, the Amari Coopers of the world with CeeDee Lamb, with the healthy Gallup or Asad Wilson. I think it's a different story. Maybe you have that confidence. I don't think that's the case right now. It could be the worst secondary in the league. I still don't think you should just go out there and throw the ball over the park. Stick to what you do and build off of that, play action, whatever, and maybe take advantage of a matchup when you need to. I digress. We'll get a couple more up in here, man. What's good, B?
What's happening, my G?
What's up with you?
Oh, man, cooling, man. I've been trying to get up in the show, man, but my schedule has just been crazy, man. I've just been catching the playback on your channel, man. But I feel like you calling at the right time. The past couple weeks.
Yeah, you calling at the right time.
I've been tuned in. What's good though, man? I was listening to you in the past couple callers, man. The last caller before just started. I think he said that the Vikings play a 3-4 defense.
The last caller was Shaq, the Vikings fan. Ed Donatel. Yeah. He does some 3-4 principles because he comes from what's it? Vic Fangio and the Broncos.
Oh, okay. I thought they ran a 4-3. They just stand their ends up.
They used to run a 4-3
down. Oh, yeah, I don't see too many 3-down linemen because, that's a traditional 3-4 look. You got your 5 technique, your nose, and you standing your rushers up on the edge, and I don't see them doing that.
Well,
I just see them running.
You're not going to see a whole lot of it, and I said this when I broke down their defense yesterday. You're not going to see a whole lot of base 3-4 against the Buffalo Bills because the Buffalo Bills are not coming out in run packages all game. They're coming out in 11 personnel with what's his name, Josh Allen throwing the ball. And you're not going to match an 11 personnel with the base 3-4 defense. And let's just be completely honest here. The NFL base defense is the nickel package now. That's just, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. But their principles are 3-4.
And you know what it is? And I think that's the problem with a lot of these teams. These offensive coordinators are just saying, you know what? We got these 6-foot linebackers that are 215 pounds in the NFL now, and our defensive ends are not defensive ends. They're just pass rushers, or they call them edge players now. And they're just running at them because they're lighting the ass. They're not, a defensive end back in the day was, 6'4", 6'5", 275 pounds. Now they're 6'1", 6'2", 230 pounds.
Defensive ends?
And I think that, our defensive ends are like these defensive ends now are not that big now.
They ain't that small though. What you're saying, the principle, what you're saying is something that me and B Bird were talking about yesterday, and the statistics show it. The league just said, okay, we're a passing league now for the last 15 years, so they have adapted, right?
Right.
But it's coming back around full circle. So the defense is adapted. They got, faster, quicker, smaller, and now teams are like, all right, we saw how y'all did Pat Mahomes last year, how y'all been doing Dak Prescott, right. When he was going on. The answer to that was run the damn ball, right? And now teams have come out with that focus, and I think sounds crazy, but I think the league has an all-time high of yards per carry and the lowest yards per pass attempt since 1933. So it's coming around.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's coming around full circle.
Yeah, man, I think another way that we could, help stop the run, man, I think sometimes we got to get away from that 3 safety look. When these teams are coming out in these 2 wide receiver looks, we still have 3 safeties on the field.
Yeah, that's
and I think
base.
Sometimes that traditional look, it'll be good for this defense. Put 3 linebackers on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just, like you said, stay in nickel all the time when you're getting these 2 wide receiver looks. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think Jaron Kearse I know he's probably banged up, but he's not playing as well as he played last year, in my opinion. That's what I see. I don't see him as physical at the line of scrimmage with tight ends a lot, that way he was last year. And the defense in general, it's just too much free access off the line of scrimmage, Sky. Like, we play a lot of man coverage, a lot of it. And these offensive coordinators are just coming up with man-beating routes. They're stacking guys. They're coming out in these bunch formation, these tight formations. The last touchdown to Christian Washington, it was the same touchdown, the combination of routes that the Bears ran against Kelvin Joseph the week before, or the game before. They just flipped the formation. Instead of it coming from the left side, it came from the right side, and it was on the same player.
Talking about the goal line?
Same player. Huh?
You talking about the goal line touchdown?
No, the shallow cross. Christian Washington, he came from the right side of the formation, and he just ran away from everybody.
There wasn't no shallow
Joseph
cross.
Was on that coverage. Yeah, on Christian Watson's third touchdown.
In the red zone.
From one side of he went from one side of the formation.
That's why I
to
was
another.
asking. You said no. Are you talking about at the goal line, bro, or not? Which one are you talking about?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't at the goal line, Scott. That ball was on the 15-yard line.
Well,
that last touchdown to Christian Washington
in the red zone, brother. That's what I was asking. You said no.
Oh, I thought you said line. I thought you said. You keep saying goal line.
I said red zone. You said no. So now I'm like, is it the goal line one then, or like what are you talking about?
I thought you said that 2 times.
Well,
yeah.
that would look like a miscommunication between Kelvin Joseph and Malik Hooker. He passed it along to Malik Hooker, and Malik Hooker just let him run right by him. He ran by 2 people.
Yeah, man, but these crossing routes, they're killing us, man. They're killing us with these man looks. And a lot of times, man, I just wish that we didn't give so much free access off the line of scrimmage, man. Even with the tight ends, like they just free access. Like this week, you can't do that with what's his name, Hawkinson. Jaron Curse is not going to be able to just let this dude off the line of scrimmage and go up the field without getting physical with him on the line of scrimmage. If you don't get physical with him, it's going to be a long day. I promise you that. So I just don't want to see these wide receivers, you know what I'm saying, get all this free access and these tight ends off the line of scrimmage, man. I think that'll help if they pay a little more physical at the line of scrimmage, my G.
All right.
All right, my G, man. I'll tap in with you in a couple weeks, dog. It's good to hear from you, my G.
Always. Appreciate you, B.
My man.
Let's get to my Reading brother. How you doing, man?
Good morning. God bless you in the show and the family like always.
Thank you, brother.
Just got a quick thing to ask you. What to say. What the caller just said is so true. I really think that our defensive back, they got to get more physical, because if you let receivers just get off on their routes, it's easier, to for the situation. And another thing, what that guy said too about the zone defense, that is true, because if you run in stunts and the other man that's supposed to loop, if he don't loop, he's definitely going to leave all them holes together. And Kellen Moore, if we don't get rid of Kellen Moore, we're going to be done, because he's putting our defense in situations that he really shouldn't put us in, because if we running the ball and we doing good, you know what I'm saying, you got to stay with that game plan. Don't get pass happy. I understand, the numbers might look good and all that stuff, but football's never been pretty. Football's football. It's about getting dirty and getting the job done. That's what it comes down to, my brother. God bless you in the show and the family like always, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Let's get to Uncle Charles, man. I haven't heard from Uncle in a minute, man. Go on ahead, brother.
Good morning, Skywalker. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Hope everything is good with you, Uncle.
Well, every time I talk to you, Skywalker, it's not just a good day, it's a blessing. And I can say that, but let me say this to the listening public. I think my brothers and sisters know how I feel about my Cowboys. But I'm going to tell you this. I ain't always right. Nobody's always right. Nobody's perfect. But I'm going to say this. I've been watching the Cowboys since I was 7 years old. When the Cowboys made it to the Super Bowl, I had a certain feeling. I had that certain feeling before the Green Bay game. It was that feeling you get. Said, we're going to the Super Bowl. Feeling you. Now, let me tell you something. And I'm going to say this to Mike McCarthy. Coach, I know you don't know who I am. Probably you might know damn who I am. But I'm going to tell you, I'm a lifelong Dallas Cowboy fan. It's almost a part of my family to this point. Coach, listen to me very well. If you don't take the pressure out of Kellen Moore's hand, you will be fired. You will never get a job in the NFL no more, at least for the next 5 or 6 years. And you'll be down in some little school where they try to get up off the ground and their last name is the Chickens. I'm telling you what's going to happen. You don't take that playbook out of Kellen Moore's hand, we're going to be at home first round. And if we don't if he keep doing we might not make the playoffs. We're supposed to win the games we're supposed to win. What is the most important thing in the NFL game when two teams is going to war on the football field? What is the most important thing? Time of possession. Time of possession. If your run defense is suspect, then that time of possession that your offense have on the field protects that. But since you can't protect a 14-point lead, let me show you how. Chris Brown got a song called "If You Think You Can Run It, Run It, Run It, damn it. Run the ball." What? See, I don't know nothing about a one-tech. I don't know nothing about a two-tech. I don't know nothing about a three-tech. But I know about a damn Tech 9. And I got one. And I'm telling you, if you don't take that out of his hands right now, we're going to be at home first round of the playoffs. If we make the playoffs, and I say if, it'll be the 49ers again. The key is that you got 3 capable backs. And you're supposed to use those backs, popping 5, 6 yards a carry. And what you do, you pass the ball. Now, I can say this. It was some plays in that game referees call was very bad. But you cannot leave this game in the referee's hands. You can't play poorly and say, well, the referees, they gave us some bad calls. But you helped it. You helped it. You let Dr. Death come in there and kill you. That's what you did. Now, I got plants and flowers on my porch. I water them every morning. And by God's grace, he gives them sun. And people say, why are you talking to the plants? Listen, fool, because the plants talk to me. They're alive, too, as long as I do what I'm supposed to do. Now, I'm going to say this in closing. I got tired of people coming up on my porch, stealing my angels, stealing my flowers. And I went and I said, Lord, what else I'm going to do? I said, I'm tired of people stealing from me. And the bad side of me came out, and I got my bear trap my granddaddy gave to me. And then the bear trap went off between 6 and 7:30 in the morning. Police came. He said, Mr. Baby, did you steal? I said, no, but I got something even better. What is that? Their DNA. You see little drops of blood and from the push to the grass. He said, you think they're coming back? I said, no, they ain't coming back. He said, where you think they're going? Somewhere down in Birmingham, Lemon Brace, trying to find my leg, and I love legs, especially chicken legs. And that's what you ain't got right now. And that's all I got to say. Run the damn ball. And I appreciate you, brother.
My God. I'm sorry for those that have to follow up Uncle Charles. It's like impossible. Appreciate you, Uncle. Always with a good story, but there's a moral to that story, and this story is run the damn ball. He did say something there I had to write down that I wanted to touch on that we have brought up here. Interesting enough, I didn't see it brought up many other places weeks ago. And we kind of ignored it a little bit. And that's time of possession. I don't look at TOP as a I saw on Twitter somebody was like, oh, it's overrated. There's context to that, man. I think time of possession could definitely be to your advantage depending on your team. And the team that's supposed to have a good defense and that could get leads or whatever. You would think having the ball more would put more pressure on the opposing team. Dallas has only won the time of possession one time all year. One time. You would think in a game, you're up 49, you win 49-29 or whatever it was. You'd win the time of possession. They only had the ball for 23 minutes. And we was talking in the group chat yesterday, and I almost said, how crazy is it that did we score too fast? Are we scoring too fast? I don't think I would want to score. That's what I want to do, is score. If it happens fast, it happens fast. But it's not just that. because they were excellent in that game. It's something they had not been excellent in all year, and it's a weird situation, and that's third down. They were by far their best, I think, ever. I think something like 20-some, 30, whatever it was. They were their best since like in the 80s on third down against the Bears. But on third down, the Cowboys have not been good this year. Whether it's Dak, whether it's Rush, doesn't matter. And it's so weird. Because historically, the Cowboys have been a good third down team. At the very worst, they've been in an okay third down team. But they've always been a pretty good to top third down conversion team. That's not the case this year. Maybe there's some factors into that. You don't have the same weapons from the pass catching standpoint. You got two drastically different quarterbacks. Start off with one, then you have to put the reset button with the other, then the reset button with the other guy coming back with weapons that he doesn't have chemistry with. So maybe these things will get cleaned up. But I do think the TOP starts at third down. Dallas needs to start winning on third down if they want to control the ball more. Running it obviously will help you get more time of possession, but you also need to convert on third downs. If they don't do that, I wonder what the record is. I mean, maybe this is nothing, but I have no idea. Where's Elias? Anybody got an Elias Sports subscription or something? Has a team ever went 1-15, because there's only 16 games back in the day, in regards to winning time of possession? Do the Cowboys need to go back to ball control, Garrett offense? And I say Garrett offense, I mean, you know how we play keep away. If this defense doesn't get its run game act together, that may be the case. Let's get a couple more in here and get up out of here. We have 404. What's goody?
What's up, Scott?
What's up with you?
What's going on, man? It's Sports Guru 95 calling in, man.
Sports Guru? I hardly hear from you calling in, man. What up?
Hey, man, I'm starting to call in a little bit. A lot of times I'm just listening in the chat, man, because I'll be working. But I'm kind of got a little off time today, so I'm going to call in, man. But, look, man, I played D-line in college, man, and I'm looking at some of this stuff that Dan Quinn is doing, and it's like he's trying to me, it's like those TE stunts where the tackle goes to the outside and the end comes around, those are not run stunts. Those are pass stunts. And it's like, to me, him and Kellen are getting too cute at times with their calls. Just play simple defense. Let the D-line control their gaps, gobble up a double team, let the linebackers make the plays. It's like he's trying to get everybody involved with his defense, and nobody's playing their responsibility. And it's like it's hurting the run game. Dorrance Armstrong is not good against the run. Play a little bit more Sam Williams. Fowler, I don't care if I see him again. I'm not a Fowler fan. I've never been. I just think he's just that undisciplined player. I'd rather, Williams get his snaps. Play a little bit more of
at least on first and second down. I feel like
first and second down.
Yeah, I feel like Fowler should be, and this is what we said actually coming in. Like, he should be a pass rush specialist. Right? It's a third down, and you go with Dante Fowler, third and long or whatever. But if it's run downs, let's put our run guys in there.
Yeah, and DQ getting too cute for me, and Kellen Moore getting too cute for me. Like I watched the the Kurt Warner thing, and he went over the 4th and 3 play, and it's like, man, I was like, what are you doing? Like, I just kept saying that throughout the whole. I mean, I just kept.
He kept saying that. Kurt kept. What are you doing? And again, I said, people are looking at that wrong. I mean, Kurt kept saying, what are we doing here? What is this? What is this concept? And why is our first progression here? Like this what are they teaching? What is this? And I'm like, man, it's like deja vu.
Yeah. Dak needs an OC, man. He needs an offensive coordinator that makes the game simple for him. Kellen makes the games too complicated for Dak. He makes it too complicated for him. Dak is thinking too much. He's not reacting.
Let me tell you where it is, though. It's not. I'll talk about it when you're done. It's not even between it's not between the games. It's towards the end. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's that Kurt Warner breakdown, man. It breaks down a lot, bro. It's like it taught me a lot. It taught me kind of what to look for when I'm watching the game, and it's like I think Dak needs to. I'm not a fan of Sean Payton, but I think Dak may need a Sean Payton in there to make the game simple for him because Kellen Moore is messing up Dak big time with his schemes and his lack of adjustments and his lack of situational football. But appreciate you for taking my call, man. I'm going to let you go and handle your business, bro.
Appreciate you. Thanks, fam.
All right, no problem.
What he touched on there is similar to what we talked about on 4th and long, Cowboys 4th and long. And I want to go towards the end of the games because in the middle of these games, all the numbers are there. For those who have been sticking around here, because I want to tie this all together. And I could have made this in the show in its entire self. Because I don't want to, I'm going to be here too long. We're already in overtime. But I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew, and that was just a good call. Want to make sure I preface this correctly. Let me start here. Y'all know how I feel about this scheme. Period. I thought you were seeing him adapt, but then Kellen came out and was like, "Man, it took everything in my heart in my being not to want to throw the ball." So to me, I feel like once again, this is Kellen or this is Mike McCarthy on him, and this is not a natural adaptation, growth, whatever. I truly believe there is only a handful of quarterbacks, maybe a handful of quarterbacks, who in the big moments should be executing that type of scheme. In big moments, most coordinators want to make the game simpler for their skill players. But dating back to 2019, that hasn't been the case necessarily. Go watch when we are most successful at end of halves or what have you. 9 times out of 10, not 10 times. It's usually when we hurrying up. It's usually when, go listen to what Beasley said his last year here. Ooh, Kellen Moore was the coordinator. Oh man, we're at our best when we don't have to get a call. Well, we're just out. Hey, let's go. Boom, 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 boom. But when that's not the case, I don't think I can ignore it anymore. First 3 years in Dak Prescott's career under Scott Linehan. Was it like 16 game-winning drives? Something like that. He orchestrated about 14 or 16 game-winning drives in his first 3 years in this league. And now 4 seasons under Kellen Moore, granted 2020, he got hurt. 4 seasons. He has 3. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out how a quarterback who is better, let's not get this twisted. He's a better player. He's a better quarterback. He's more experienced. He's a better thrower, all that stuff. How in the hell do you go from 16 to 3? In about the same time period. Granted, injuries and but still. And I got to thinking, who's the outlier here? Scott Linehan, Kellen Moore. So let me dig a little deeper. You go look at some of these games. Specifically, let's go to 2019 against the Vikings, matter of fact. We get down to the end of the game and we make a glitch boneheaded call or something like that. We get down to the end of the game in this game and we make a glitch boneheaded call. Well, we're making things more difficult for your team, not just the quarterback, because orchestrated game-winning drives doesn't mean the quarterback always made the game-winning touchdown. He orchestrated it. But something I really want to go back on is look at some of these game-winning opportunities and go look at how they've been drawn up. Go look at the flow. That could take a long time. But I'm at the point now where I don't think that's a discrepancy. And that's something at the beginning of this year, y'all know what I was saying. I said, and I'm stick to it. Unfortunately, Dak, you're going to have to overcome that. He's here. He's not going anywhere, bro. That's the one thing I want him to do is this year was to finish the game through hell or high water. I get injuries. I get this. I get all that. I need you to be the hell, and I need you to be the high water, because I don't think it's going to come from the guy with the headset on. I don't. 9 times out of 10. A broken clock is right twice a day, right? But 9 times out of 10, don't trust that. And I don't know how you can look at 16 game-winning drives, 3. Scott Linehan made things easy. They make things difficult. Did he get stale? Sure. Towards the end, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. But in those situations, I don't think that's something you can ignore. There's something to that. And I wish I can plug into somebody's mental, give me some information down there in Dallas, but I will never get that type of information. But I do think there's something to that, man. I digress. Let me get to my man who owns a casino in Vegas. What's goody?
What's going on, Sky? How you doing?
You know what's crazy? I'm in the middle of watching Casino again. Every now and again, I get bored and I'm like, yeah, I love the movie Casino. Let me go watch Casino. So,
hey, well, what's crazy is I could have been in that movie. I used to work at the restaurant called Piero's here in town, and that's where they filmed part of the movie there. That's where they had the guy who played Spilatro. I forget what his name was in the movie, but Pesci, his bar, that was actually where I worked at, the restaurant.
Not Ace, but the dude protecting Ace.
Yeah. Yep. The little short dude, Joe Pesci, playing the mob guy. But yeah, so his the parts in that movie, when it's like his bar, that was our restaurant.
Oh wow.
But I was young. I wanted to go drink my 40, so I didn't do it. But man, I want to say, for one, yeah, I'm definitely Kellen Moore. For one, why are you splitting out a running back out wide? This is a guy who's a receiver in college, but you can't throw him the ball during the game. But all of a sudden, you got him out wide. When did that ever work? When did we ever even seen that play? I believe, like you said, we should have our best play for fourth down. I want to see a play that Dak could be blindfolded and complete 5 out of 10 times.
Well, let me be fair here. He split out.
You don't say a play that they've done so many times. I want to see a play they've done so many times in practice.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
My bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me? I
want to see a play that we practiced so many times that they're tired of practicing.
Yeah.
My bad.
You good?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Okay. There was a play where he split out Tony Pollard out wide, and it actually was a good play. They motioned him in, and at the motion, they threw a screen to him, and it converted a first down. I want to say in overtime, but that's all I wanted to say. You can go back to your show. Go ahead.
I did like that play. Well, okay, what happened to them 13 packages, throwing little screens to the tight end? No, I didn't even see the other tight ends in this game, really.
Yeah, they ran them. There was the longest play of Malik Davis's day came off of a cool 13 package that I was hoping they'd run a little bit more, and they did it a few more times. So, yeah. But back to your show.
Yeah. But also, I would like to say, in a game, I mean, look, I know that we need to stop the run, but honestly, a lot of them yards, they weren't getting points off of it. The pass is what killed us at the end of the game, and Micah is playing linebacker. We need our best player hunting at that point. I mean, I know the games when we play these running teams, I like to see him the linebacker. I really want to see Damone in there. But I like to see Micah hunting, man, going to change the game with one of his sacks.
Yeah, but if it was one of those games, absolutely, man, absolutely. But let me go ahead and land the plane on myself and get to some more calls.
All right, my bad. Hey, one last quick thing though. Where was the bracket coverage? Where was the bracket coverage at? All right, I'm taking it easy, Scott.
All right, I'm gonna answer his question on this show. There wasn't none. Wasn't none. Hello. Make sure this thing's working. I know what I was gonna say. Oh, Michael Parsons. Listen. Go listen to Dan Quinn. Go listen to Dan Quinn's interview. There just wasn't enough rush opportunities in that game because they got into 11 third and shorts. 11 third and shorts. And then when he did get a chance to rush, he was actually doing pretty good. Nah, they don't suck. They can hear me. God damn it. 970. Can you hear me fine? 970.
How about them Cowboys?
Oh shit! I don't even know why. Go ahead, Sonny. What's up?
How's it going, buddy?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm great, brother.
Hey, I wanted to agree with you what you just said a couple before that caller. You was talking about the difference in coordinators. That was pretty much pinpoint right. But like you said, we don't got no way of knowing. I wish we could be inside their locker room and hear what's really going on. You know what I mean? It'd probably give you a better understanding.
Yeah.
But I think that if we had, I'm just saying though, if we had Tom Brady on our team, he'd have probably got Kellen Moore out of here. Tom Brady would have. Or Jerry would have had to cut Tom Brady.
Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers would have probably chewed his head off, man. But
yeah, that's what we need. We need somebody who will stand up. Like I said, Jerry Jones, did you eat my $169 million contract, or you boot the coordinator out of here? Either you bitch me and play somebody else. But you're right. You need a strong-headed. You need some players that'll actually stand up and say something.
Well, they talking now, man. They said they just had a leadership council meeting, so they're voicing their opinion.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
I didn't hear. Who said that?
McCarthy.
I missed that.
McCarthy came out and said there was a leadership council meeting amongst all the top leaders in the team. So, hopefully that'll say again.
What's that mean?
I'd imagine the guys like Dak, the guys like maybe D-Law, if he's on the leadership council, J-Ron, some of the coaches are going to meet with the leaders of that team. And because how, I'm not sure if you've been in the locker room, but you know how it is, right? The players talk amongst themselves, but they're not really going to say that to the coach. Right, like there's some things they will, some things they be like, I can't say that right now. But if you have a leadership meeting or whatever, you say, hey, this is how we're feeling, coach, respectfully, or this is what we think we need to do respectfully, or X, Y, Z, just to voice their opinions, and then they can rebut or figure things out. So sometimes
and when
you do
did
that.
this possibly happen?
I think McCarthy came out with. I don't know exactly, but I think McCarthy came out with the quote yesterday.
So it happened sometime. Well, he was pretty pissed after that game. He threw that. That's the most I've ever seen him. We'll see what happens when they play Minnesota. Pretty good, though.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, we might. I don't know if we're as good as Minnesota, but we, you got to give Minnesota their dues. They went up there and beat Buffalo.
Sure.
That was a hell of a game.
Yeah.
And I blame our defense more than our offense. Our defense should have held there with a 14-point lead.
100% agree.
There was no reason for some of that. There's blame to go around for everybody.
Facts.
It ain't all on Dak and the offense. It was a whole team loss.
It was a whole team
loss. But more
loss.
so on the defense, I agree.
Fact. Hey, Sonny, let me ask you a question. Can you hear me fine?
Huh?
Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
All right, thanks, Sonny. I'm going to get to the next caller, good brother.
Hey, you're fine. I just wanted to say, you're doing a good job, and you keep the good work up, and I'll be donating real soon, sir.
Appreciate you, Sonny. Good call as always. Love the energy. welcome.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I got to find a way to cut up something that Sonny says and use it as a drop. Love his calls. Love him. We got Albuquerque in the building. What's up, 505?
Hey, what's going on, Sky? Check 1, 2. I can hear you loud and clear.
You got me? Loud?
I got you, brother.
All right.
All right. Just real quickly, I wanted to say here, as far as time of possession, it's like a woman, okay? You don't ever chase her. You have to attract her. And how do you do that? You got to handle your business, okay? So enough on that, but that's time of possession. I wanted to make the point that I tried to make yesterday with you and Botch, and I don't think Botch understood me. So I'm going to try again because I think it's going to be a problem going forward, okay?
What you got?
They're misaligned on these run plays, and we're pointing at defensive ends, but you can't tell me that you have a defensive end who's either a 5 or 6 technique, and he has tight ends outside of him, and he's responsible for containing. Okay, that will never work. Can he play it better? Yeah, he can. But he was like a 6 technique, which is weird, right, on that side. So he's 2-gapping. But the bottom line is that he's leveraged by a tight end. He can take on a double-team block better, but that can't be your edge defender. So they're misaligned, and if they don't fix that on those unbalanced sets, they're going to get killed. So that's a Dan Quinn problem. That's not a player problem. And in that formation or that alignment, you can't play zone defense because you got too many players over there. So you got to man up.
Yeah, they found a weakness schematically, and that's why I said Dan has to show a counter. Sure, you could argue a linebacker got to do this or whatever, but you're right. If I got a tight end cracking down on the defensive end, he can't possibly, in my opinion, get over top of that and quote-unquote contain. Now, can he explode through it? But not everybody's DeMarcus Lawrence. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Exactly.
Yeah, he needs to find a counter because teams are figuring out how to be able to get big boys on small players, and it's affecting them on the edges, right? And so in this game specifically, I didn't necessarily see guys just shooting the wrong gaps. I just saw them get out schemed out there. Now, if you look at the Bears game, look at the I think it happened against the Giants. I think it happened against Tampa. Yes, I think players were definitely hopping in the wrong gaps and doing wrong assignments. But this one was clear from the get-go that we saw something on tape and we're going to take advantage of it until you get out of it.
That's exactly right, and that's why Aaron Rodgers almost cussed out his coach because he's like, we know good and well they're playing this stupid alignment against our unbalanced, which we should just run all day. If they're not going to fix it, then we're just going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And they're going to get more and more of that. So Dan Quinn, I love him, but that's a problem, okay? Because any defensive coordinator that's telling me that DN is this contained guy, there's no way. Now, I don't know if guys are just not getting where they're supposed to get whenever and make that kind of adjustment. And then on top of that, you don't have LVE coming downhill properly. So those are the things that need to be fixed. And once they fix that, then they're going to be good. And I trust Dan Quinn to get it fixed because if I see it and you see it, he damn well better see it and he better fix it.
I said this before. Maybe it's blind trust. I don't know. But if it's a guy on this coaching staff or coaching on this team that I trust, it's Dan Quinn. So we'll see.
Agreed. Yes. All right, brother. Keep doing the great work. I appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Final call of the day, 407. What's up?
Yeah, Sky, how you doing, man?
What's up with you, man? Who this?
This is Gene.
Gene Jones. Yeah, okay, Gene, what's up, Gene?
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. My problem is Dak Prescott. Okay. Mr. Dak Prescott. My man, it's 4th and 4. Okay, but you standing back there, you bouncing, you waiting for CeeDee Lamb to come open. My man, go get those 4 or 5 yards. You understand this is our last play. Or call a timeout. You got to start winning in spite of the coaches. I mean, you're not getting this. But there is a big problem, man. He got to get this. He got to start winning in spite of those dudes. Those dudes are asleep at the wheel on the sideline, and he got to call a timeout. He got to be the boss of this thing. You know what I'm saying? Tick me off, man. And Kevin Joseph, I don't care if Kevin Joseph ever get back on the field again. I don't, man. I love that guy. But that guy, I mean, I watched that guy in Kentucky, man, and he was a real ball hog, know how to track the ball. He's not getting that, man. All right, man, I'm out your way, man.
Kevin Joseph. I don't think you're wrong, man. It's really not. Oh, you still there? All right, appreciate you, Gene. It's something I was saying, I think, prior to me even joining A to Z Sports. You got to win in spite. Point blank, period. Now, the run thing, I don't necessarily agree with run. I mean, I guess he could have just abandoned the play call and ran, sure, but that's the call, right? So I don't like the call. I don't like dropping back and, he's still there. Hold on. He's still. I said I don't like the call. We'll bring you in. I said I don't like the call. I don't like the call.
That's where he should have called the timeout at.
I said I don't like the call.
He should have called the timeout.
I don't know if maybe Dak liked the call. I don't know. I'm just talking about me, G. I think the timeout should have been called, period. Because you didn't convert 3rd and 3. So let me call a timeout. Boom, bang a timeout. Let's get into our best play. But anyway, man, yeah. So I think that he needs to overcome that, and that's just is what it is, bro. It is what it is. You don't got Mike McDaniels over there, Shanahan, the McVays, the Andy Reids, the Dayballs. You don't got that going for you, man. That'll do it for the calls. We are in super overtime on a Thursday. Let's get up out of here. Hit that like button on the way out, man. Tomorrow, we'll probably do keys, or we did X Factors last week, so we'll do keys. That was fun. The X Factors was fun last week, but it didn't work out, so I'm a little salty about that, man. I had that video ready. When we were up 28-14, I was literally about to go edit the video at Texas Live to put Sam Williams' face where Micah's was, just like, because I was just ready for it, and then the rest is history. So tomorrow we'll do keys to the game. Got to get this victory, man. It's a swing game. It's a very important game. I think this and then you got to turn right around and play the Giants. So you got to get this dub to stay in contention for this division. It's crazy. The Giants are one game out. Crazy. Shout out to my guy Authentic, man. When you talk about identity, when you talk about doing what works into a team makes you come out of it, talk about coaching. Brian Daboll said Danny Dimes is not fitting to mess this up. Bro, you ain't throwing the ball past 5 yards unless I say so. Saquon, get ready. 50 carries. They know who they are. They play to who they are. And I'm jealous of that. Because we here hopping around trying to figure out who the hell are we from week to week. We hope. Man, I hope we stick to that game plan we saw in Green Bay. I hope we see some of those things we saw against Cincy in the first drive. I hope we see some of those things we saw against the Giants in that game. I hope. We don't got a goddamn clue. Because that offensive coordinator be glitching. Brian Daboll said, Danny Dimes means Danny 10 yards and in. We'll need you to throw a dime past the nickel. And he's 7-2. I'm jealous. I watch these games. I watch Miami. I watch San Fran. I watch Philly. I watch the Chiefs. I watch the Ravens. They know who they are. I could live with a loss knowing who we are. I can't live with a loss knowing, damn it, if we was just the team we was 2 weeks ago. My bad. The show's supposed to be over. Gotta overcome it, man. Good Lord. I got super chats. My bad, y'all. Let me get to these super chats. Authentic, why you getting me riled up like that, bro? Shout out to Authentic and the Beer. I really do enjoy their show. Definitely when they talk about the NFC East, man. They leave the emotions out of it. My emotions, I admit, take over sometimes. I try to be as even kill as possible. But shout out to Oozing Toxicity as Marcus Hardison. You just gonna keep that name, ain't you?
Super chat.
$5 donation says Dak continues to take bullets for Kellen's ineptitude, yet you never see Kellen take bullets in defense of Dak. Ooh, man, listen, you're gonna start a whole nother show, Marcus. Put a pin in that.
Super chat.
Ike, appreciate you for the donation. Says, you don't think Peters working at left tackle is a sign Tyron's coming back? 100% I do. Tyler moves down a guard, and then offensive line depth looks great. Respect and love the work, brother. Appreciate you, Ike. I do. I 100% think that I mean, even with Peters not working at left tackle, I thought Tyron was coming back. Sully.
Super chat.
I think it's from earlier in the show. He said, if Diggs so happens to step on his toe, talking about Justin Jefferson on the first play, I'll be fine with that. Cue the gun drop. The gun drop? Oh, cue the drop. I got you, bro. Listen, yeah, my bad, Justin. That's your toe? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was a turf. Hell yeah. I will never find a way to win. I don't care how you win. I don't care if you cheat, scratch, claw, fight, whatever. I do not care. It's been 27 years. Think I care how the Cowboys get it? Nope. But Sky, they cheated. So what? I don't care. And then, we got two more. Ron.
Super chat.
Micah killed the Vikings screen game from the linebacker position last year. Maybe there's something I'll bring up tomorrow. But there's a reason why I wanted Micah Parsons to be linebacker, then come down as opposed to the edge and go back. I will put a pin in that, Ron. If I forget to bring it up, remind me. And then we don't wipe those 3-0 foes. An Eagle and you know he always got an Eagle fan tried to come at me about Dak by saying Skip Bayless said. He said I stopped him and said, excuse me. We do not do that in this establishment. You gotta tune in to the volume. Vosh Lombardi Live. You gotta tune into it. Too many inside jokes to explain, man. That was good though. We do not do that here. One more on the way out.
Super chat.
What pisses me off about Kellen Moore from Marcus Hardison is that his ineptitude corrupts both the offense and defense. Marcus, you about to start a whole nother show. You're about to start a whole nother show because it's good stuff. Maybe we'll save it for another day. It's good stuff. All right, look, hit that like button on the way out, Cowboys Nation. Good show today. Unexpected overtime, but I think we got the dub. We finished strong. That's what we do here, man. We do that here. Later on, 306 Mafia, usually like 310 now at this point. Holla at me over there on Vosh Lombardi Live, ADCSportsDallas.com. You'll find Mo and Matt and all the quality writers over there, ADCSportsDallas.com. Plus, Mo will be on later today. A to Z Sports prime time final show of the week. So make sure y'all check that out. Good stuff today, man. Y'all were great. Nick, it's turning into 310. But I promise you, I am in the green room at 3 o'clock. I'm usually there about 2:55. Don't tell Vach I said this, but it ain't me. That's my guy. I'll see y'all tomorrow or later, depending on when I see y'all. Love you. Peace. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Sue me. yippee-ki-yay, mother.